Someone poured wine on my sister after what she screamed at me for playing a video at our mom's funeral. My sister Lynette stood at the podium in her perfectly pressed white dress with tears streaming down her face. She said, "I sacrificed so much to be there for mom, all those sleepless nights, but I would do it again because our bond was unbreakable." She paused dramatically and said, "I made a sacred promise to continue mom's legacy of love, and that means I'm going to cherish and protect her beloved Princess Buttercup for the rest of its life because that sweet animal is the last piece of her I have left." I was sitting in the third row with that same cat curled up peacefully on my lap, a fluffy orange tabby named Princess Buttercup, and something inside me snapped. The cat stretched and yawned as Lynette accepted tearful hugs from relatives, and I stood up with the cat still in my arms and started walking toward the laptop running the memorial slideshow. My cousin grabbed my arm and whispered, "What are you doing?" But I pulled away and kept moving because I could not let this performance continue for another second. I reached the laptop and clicked out of the family photos before anyone could process what was happening. The projector screen filled with shaky footage from a low angle that made everyone confused at first. And I said, "I put a GPS camera on Princess Buttercup so I could find her if she wandered off, and I think everyone deserves to see what it captured." My aunt said, "What does this have to do with anything?" And then my sister's voice came through the speakers, already raised and angry, saying, "Would you just hurry up and die already? I have an actual life I'm trying to live." The room went dead silent. Mom's weak voice came through the speakers saying, "Lynette, please, I'm trying my best." And Lynette screamed back, "Your best? Your best is ruining everyone's lives." The footage showed the cat jumping onto a side table and knocking over a picture frame, and my sister screamed, "I swear to God I'm going to snap your neck and tell everyone you ran away." Mom's voice cracked as she begged, "Please don't hurt her. She's all I have when you're not here." And Lynette laughed and said, "She's all you have? Good. You deserve to die alone with a stupid cat." Someone in the back row started crying. The cat settled down on the bed and started grooming itself while Lynette stood over Mom and said, "You want to know a secret? I pray every night that tomorrow's the day I get the call that you're finally gone." Mom was sobbing now, saying, "Why are you being so cruel? I'm your mother." And Lynette said, "You were never a good mother. You were never good at anything." Several people in the room gasped, and I heard my uncle mutter something under his breath that sounded like a curse. The footage showed the cat looking up with its ears perked as my sister leaned in close to Mom and said, "The second you're dead, I'm putting this disgusting thing down and selling this house, and I'm never going to think about you again." Mom's voice was barely audible as she said, "Please, promise me you'll take care of her." And Lynette said, "I'm not promising you anything. You don't deserve promises." The video ended and the silence was suffocating. Princess Buttercup was licking her paw in my arms like nothing was happening while my aunt covered her mouth in horror, and several relatives looked like they might be sick. Lynette's face had gone completely white and she stammered, "That's out of context. You edited that. You've always been jealous of me and Mom." I said, "I didn't edit anything." My aunt stood up and said, "Lynette, was that your voice?" Lynette's hands were shaking as she said, "You don't know what it was like. None of you were there. I was the only one who showed up." My uncle cut her off and said, "You told your dying mother to hurry up and die. You told her she was never good at anything, while she was begging you to show mercy." Several cousins started murmuring in agreement, and Lynette's voice jumped an octave as she said, "She was dying anyway. I gave up 2 years of my life for her, and this is the thanks I get." I said, "She loved you, Lynette. She defended you to me every time I called." More relatives started talking at once, and Lynette screamed, "Shut up! All of you shut up! You have no idea what I went through." She pointed at me with a trembling finger and said, "You abandoned her. You only showed up when it was convenient. At least I was there." My cousin who had tried to stop me earlier said, "Mom loved you more than anyone, Lynette." I looked Lynette dead in the eyes and said, "You threatened to kill Princess Buttercup on camera. That was stupid." Something in Lynette's face changed completely, and the desperation drained away, and she said, "You're right. I was stupid for wanting to put the cat down." She took a step toward me. "I should have been planning to get rid of you instead." The gasps did nothing to stop her, and she screamed, "I should have made this a double funeral." Princess Buttercup chose that exact moment to leap from my arms onto the refreshment table near the podium, and in one fluid motion, she knocked a full glass of red wine directly onto my sister's pristine white dress. Lynette stood there drenched in wine with mascara running down her cheeks as the room erupted into shocked laughter. She let out a sob and ran for the exit while everyone watched without a single person moving to comfort her. Princess Buttercup sat on the table licking wine off her paw like she had just completed a mission, and my relatives gathered around to pet her.